Say angels, I want to do a love reading, and I'm sorry that I'm late. It's so weird because well, I explained to those of you who saw the general reading that I was like super super busy last week, either with work like this, healing work, readings and stuff, but also in my like real normal 3D life, and in addition to like all these meetings and things that I had to go to, I co-hosted two large meetings, and I was actually honored last week too for Black History Month by Councilwoman Margaret Chin and the New York City Council. They presented me with a citation for all my years of communities of service to the community, to the district, and stuff like that. So that was how I got behind in terms of the general reading and the love reading. I went to do them on Sunday, and it took me so long to get the general reading actually up that it was late. It was like 11:30 by the time I got up, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just do the love reading tomorrow. But then Mondays are usually like my day off, so I kept thinking like there's something I was supposed to do in terms of this. They're usually my day off unless I have like an order or something to fulfill. And so I was like, do I have something? And I didn't. It didn't like click until late Monday night. Like I never did love reading. So here I am. Here it is Tuesday, and I've had a full busy day yet again. But now that I'm home, I want to do a love reading. So beginning with Major Arcana card Strength in reverse. So Strength represents the sign of Leo most directly, and it is about strength. It's the ability to face like any and everything that comes your way. When it's in reverse, it tends to mean like you're not using your abilities to their fullest potential. So like you can take down whatever obstacle is in your way, you can face whatever adversary you have, and you can get the best of them or whatever, you can win, you can be a success. And you may still be one, but you could like easily do it if you used what's really within you. And this is a sign of like maybe insecurity and lack of confidence in yourself. And the next card is also in reverse, and it's the Two of Cups. So this is the love reading, so it's nice to see the Two of Cups, but it's in reverse. So I'd say that this is about a couple that's upside down, nervous, anxious, worried. The Two of Cups is supposed to be about like reciprocity, like a reciprocal relationship, like the real deal type of thing, right? Connection. With these two both in reverse, it's like both people maybe stuck in ego or fear or some other negative emotion. So neither is using their full potential to make a reconnection or a stronger connection or even a first meeting. It's like being afraid to be vulnerable. That's what these two cards are representing for me. You're conflicted. The energy wants to turn around, right? It wants to get more positive. And even maybe give you some sort of wish fulfillment, something you dreamed about, or someone you dreamed about, prayed for, the relationship you prayed for, you really wanted. It's trying to come and to, turn something that was painful around too and resolve that. But there is a potential of like missing the opportunity to do that because we lack confidence and we're not using that strength that's available. I mean, it's natural too, though, to have that kind of fear, and especially when you're talking about being vulnerable, like letting your guard down and not being afraid of like the other person's reaction. So I mean, I'm thinking when I see the Two of Cups and I see the Strength card like that, I'm thinking about like those couples where the girl is at home thinking about the guy or the other girl, whatever you're into, right? and like wanting to call him or see him or whatever, or hoping he would call her. And he's like, or she is at home doing the same thing. And neither one, like both of them, neither can get beyond their ego to be the initiate. So like then what happens? You just don't have a connection, you know? You have choices, you have options. It's up to you, your free will to decide what you're going to do here. There's the Two of Cups again. I'm going to pull a card for each element and then give each different group the meaning of their card. So the first one, like in the Zodiac, begins with Aries. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Your card is the Four of Cups. Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The Three of Swords. Air. And I have a feeling that this is connected to an air sign or something too. I don't know. Air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The Fool in reverse. I think we had the Fool upright last week, did we? Maybe not. And water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Very nice. Y'all trying to pick up something from the past. Like finish something, get something reignited, finish something you started previously. It doesn't have to be far in the past. It's like maybe you started and then you guys lost contact. You know how you start talking to somebody and all of a sudden it just sort of like naturally like wanes or whatever. And then like I was just saying, like one person's like, I wonder how they doing. Let me call. And then like, nah, they haven't called me, so I'm not going to call either. And then both people are doing that, unaware that the other one is thinking the same thing. So that could be what's going on with the water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So if you saw the general, the Three of Swords came up there too several times, as did the Two of Swords. And I talked about people that are unhappy and like, in the wrong relationship or not in a relationship at all and they want to be, or in a relationship and they want to be single, but they're just afraid to do what it is their soul is guiding them to do. So I see a couple of those things popping up again in this love reading too. We're going to start with our overall energy of the Seven of Cups. As I said, it's about choices. And these would be romantic choices that you have available to you. And so it could be literally like several different potential suitors. Or again, maybe choosing to be single, choosing to date, you can have all those options to you. And you should just be really clear and specific about what it is you're looking for or you want in a relationship, and then like evaluate the choices, like your pros and cons and whatever, and do this like thoughtfully. I warned also in the general reading about like being an asshole about stuff. Even though you are in this position, it's about being empathetic and compassionate and thoughtful in thinking these things through, and maybe turning people away, turning people down, rejecting. We don't have to be dicks about it, but be honest, right, and clear, as clear as you can be with all the people that are involved, including yourself, or maybe especially yourself, and then move forward with whatever it is you decided. This card also warns against like falling in love with the feeling that we get when we maybe meet somebody or something. So like when we think we're falling in love with them, it's like a warning about lust and stuff too. And sometimes it is a card of lust for me too. Like it can be about like one night stands and stuff. The way that I read the Seven of Cups, it's a little weird, but yeah. Well, I guess it's choices, like spontaneous choices too. So like that feeling that you get in the beginning of a relationship that doesn't always last, and when it goes away, you need something substantial to still be there between you and the person. So be careful of falling in love with just that feeling and not the actual person. Because because again, that feeling never lasts forever. Good relationships, even ones that are with, soulmates or twin flames, which also came up in the general reading. That some of those relationships were definitely, coming together or being established and all that. But even those relationships, they sort of get comfortable eventually. You know what I mean? Um, Even in those kind of relationships where you feel like you're really matched in heaven, does that feeling doesn't that feeling of just, like euphoria, doesn't last forever. So you want something to still be remaining between you when it's gone. Moving on specifically to the fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Four of Cups, upright, for love, says that you need to look at yourself, like, and ask yourself if you're being realistic, like when it comes to your feelings about love. Or maybe do you have your heart set on a relationship, or on being single, or on a specific relationship, a specific person, or something, to the exclusion of like everything else, all these other choices. Like you're so focused, tunnel vision, on one thing that you miss that you have all these other options. Is that what's happening with you? Um, it's possible that you are like focused on someone who, like, of those people who are focused on one person, it's possible, very possible with this card, that that one person doesn't give you back, doesn't give you the same energy. Remember what I was saying about the Two of Cups? I said it's about reciprocity. It's about reciprocal energy, mutual adoration, respect, and love, and it's like the real deal and stuff. This person isn't giving you back the same thing, or maybe they are like just unavailable. Whether that means physically unavailable, because they're in another relationship or in another place, they can't get to you, or emotionally unavailable, or combinations of those, or whatever the deal is. And so, you got to think about that and then consider your other options. Like, do I want to stay focused on this? That's feels like it's going nowhere, and then I'm getting the short end of the stick, or do I want to try one of the other choices that I have? Consider something else. Maybe give somebody a chance that's interested in me that I haven't really paid much mind to. Earth signs. Um, I just was realizing that I said about you, I think some of you have a connection to an air sign too. That's with whom you have this challenging relationship or situation. And it reminded me of, in the general reading, I don't do it like this with the elements. I do like the cards that I lay out there for everybody. And the first one most directly represents us, and the second one is the surrounding energy. And in that surrounding energy, so in this same placement where this Three of Swords is, was the Queen of Swords, or possibly the Queen of Swords and the Three of Swords, because I used two cards in each placement the other day. Somebody's. I don't know who it is. And it could be Taurus that I'm feeling this about, because you have an air. You have Uranus located in your sign, and so maybe that's what I'm feeling in terms of air. Or for some of you, it's an air sign that you're dealing with that you have this problem with specifically. Maybe for a lot of you, a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, is with whom you had some sort of problem. So it doesn't mean that the Three of Swords doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of the relationship or situationship or whatever it is you have going on. But it does usually point to difficulty, challenge, pain, hurt, separation, and mean that there's a need for at least a conversation, right? You got to be able to at least do that. In order for the relationship to survive, like, both people have to be willing to work on it and or to talk about it. And you may find that someone that you thought cared about you, I don't want to say they don't, but they're just not like as nice or loving a person as you believed. Like, this person might be a dick, honestly. Don't take it personal, all right? Because it's not about you, and don't dwell too long on it or on the pain or on them specifically, right? Because then you'll feel like this about that relationship. You are being guided to the relationship that's right for you. That's what these options represent, at least in part. You can't force something or someone to be right for you or to care about you or to care about the situation and working on it and working it out if they don't. But the right person will care. The right situation will be able to be worked out. You will the right person in combination with it will want to work it out, will want to give it that energy, as will you. So yeah, don't try to force something to happen. And the same, this message also came up in the general for everybody too. It was like if something's trying to leave your life, something or someone, don't try to hold on to it this week. Let it go. So I'm gonna repeat that. Air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So in I want to give you the general meaning of the Fool in reverse. It can mean that this the Fool can be about new beginnings, especially like spiritual new beginnings. So this could really be about a spiritual partnership, a spiritual relationship. That reminds me, I didn't do the did I do the dice? I didn't. I saw 29 may come up when I do. So it could be about a spiritually based relationship. Um, because the Fool is a very spiritual card. I talked about this in the general too, but especially in reverse, it's a very spiritual card. It's also about new beginnings, and usually the two of those together. So, like new beginnings that have some sort of deeper spiritual meaning and relevance. Okay, but in reverse, it can mean that the person about whom it is, in this case, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, it's about us, that we have some level of resistance to the new beginning. So we could be trying to stay stuck in the past. We could be afraid to take a chance, take a leap toward the future. We could be trying to just live in the present, and the universe wants to give us, not that living in the present is bad, it's good, but the universe is trying to show us something and to give us some sort of direction, and we're just like ignoring it for whatever reason. Um, Specifically in love, so this could be the reason. Specifically in love, the Fool in reverse talks about a person's independence and freedom. I mean, and boy, right, do air signs, especially Gemini and Aquarius, need, desire, take, we will take it, our freedom and our independence. Sometimes to the point that we can take it too far because everything needs to be in balance. So we can take it too far, and you can be in a relationship, but if you're acting like you're independent, it's like basically you're acting like you're single, is how it can come across. If you're completely independent, you don't need or want like the other person at all, or that's how it's coming across. Then to the person that you're dealing with, it can seem like you're not really that interested in them. That's what this card talks about. It talks about um, your our desire for freedom and independence and everything. It could really just be in one way or another interfering in our love lives or in our relationship. So it could be keeping you single when you want to be in a relationship. People could get the impression about you, oh, not her. Like she's too strong and independent. I need, somebody who's going to want to depend on me, or I can depend on them. It's a mutual, and you may be willing to do that, but it's what you're giving off or what people are seeing of you. It's getting in the way of the relation. If you having a relationship, or or want maybe a specific one, or or it could be like perpetuating a situation um, where yeah, like you're appearing single. It's like you're like you don't have or want a committed relationship. So this is true. If you do want a relationship, you do want love, then this guides you to like check that somehow. I'm not suggesting that air signs, again, especially Gemini and Aquarius, we definitely need our freedom. We definitely need our space when we got to take it, and we definitely are very independent people, especially the women. And so I'm not asking you to change yourself. I'm not suggesting that you change yourself. I'm just saying that if you want a relationship, then you have to being independent is a positive thing. But again, all things in balance. Being codependent is a negative thing, but all things in balance. So you need a little bit of that, and you need a little bit of your independence, and you put them together, and they become what I call interdependent. So you can stand on your own, but it's like about wanting to stand with somebody by your side. Now you got to choose to do that or not. It's up to you. You have options. And the Page of Wands. So I'm going to give you the general meaning of your card too. And like I started to before, in a general sense, this card is about something that you started some time ago is like coming to fruition now, or you're going to revisit it now and bring it to fruition. So it can also be about like a need for something new in your life, a new beginning, new adventures, new ideas, new approaches, new perspectives, whatever. It's very positive and action oriented. Well, wands in general, fire is about action, right? So specifically with regard to love, first of all, it's a page. It can definitely mean that messages of love, so calls, texts, maybe, however people reach out to each other, could be coming to you. And also some sort of affection or people expressing interest and attraction to you could also be coming your way. If you're single, brand new person, a new suitor with whom you have a lot in common could be coming. Or again, you could be starting something from the past. You could be reigniting something maybe that never really got off. Sometimes you meet somebody, you might go out on one date, and again, whatever happens, and you don't, whatever, it falls apart. You don't go back out. Then you can bump into them later, and maybe that time it'll work. It can be that type of thing too. You are guided to take a chance if you're available. And if you are committed but unhappy, then it's telling you that now's the time where you got to start thinking about and deciding if the relationship that you're currently in is one that you want to save or not, and how long you're willing to invest or try, and how much energy you're willing to give to make it happen if you do want to save it. And again, both parties have to be interested. People are going to be choosing to walk away, based on the general and what I saw there and talked about there, and what I had seen and talked about the week prior to. Like, it's just people finally facing this reality of, I'm unhappy and I don't want to be unhappy, so I'm going to do something to change it. I'm going to do another spread with these two decks. Now, shuffling these, I did not end up with marriage on the top. Marriage and the devil jumped out of the deck. I ended up with the world on the top. Be open to new possibilities in all areas of your life. So the world in the tarot, and for me, is about something coming full circle. You'll be coming to an end. Like you've completed this cycle. It's often a karmic cycle. I get like a very strong karmic fire energy from the world card in the tarot. And it can be about like a living situation or condition or relationship, or maybe both, combinations of those, a job, something's coming to an end, and it's affecting your love life. But in a positive way, like you're going to be ease out of something that is not good for you or not working anymore, or the cycle's complete, the karma's complete on that, and ease into something new for which you are better suited. And for some, it can be, again, getting out of relationships that are not right for you, where you're unhappy, where you feel chained and stuck. Take care immediately to avoid temptation and deceit. But also marriage, of course, and otherwise is a positive card. You're attracting emotional fulfillment and unconditional love. So you want to go to where that's going to be for you, and rather than staying chained to unhappiness. I'm going to shuffle these a little bit. Wish. Wish angel. So it's like the universe or God wanting to bless you with something. So again, one cycle is complete. It's time for a new beginning for you. It's going to be much better. Sun, open your heart to the enormous growth ahead. Yes, perfect. This one is about deep spiritual change, transmutation, and like a renewed sense of being. So this too goes with like a cycle completing, and now something new is going to start. Like you're going to go through a metamorphosis. You're going to feel renewed. You're going to feel this spiritual shift. It's a deep one, and then it's going to give way to something new. And this card is like the wish or the angel. It's called blessings. So this too is like miracles happening, things that you've been praying for, wishing for, hoping for, actually coming to pass. An enchantment for me too is about like full and total surrender. This now, first of all, like the blue ray and the red ray, to me that's like the masculine energy, like Mars, the Martian energy, and the Venus, the Venusian energy, like both going through her at the same time, like balance. And look, she is scarred. You see all these scars on her face and all this, but she's still like trusting. She's still willing to go into surrender. Whatever the universe guides her to do is what's going to happen, or what it's like, do to me as you say, like let it be done to me as you say, like Mary said, Luke 1:36. And that's what she's allowing to happen. She's got her head tilted back, her eyes closed, she's nude. So she's completely vulnerable. Like I was talking about, we were being afraid to be vulnerable. This woman couldn't possibly be any more vulnerable. Sorry about that. It took me a second to realize that I was talking to myself. That's the problem with recording live, right? And unedited stuff. I was just sitting here talking and going along, but you see I didn't get too far along, and I don't know what these cards are. You have to take my word for it. This is going to be the energy the masculine would have the feminine give to the union or connection if it were up to him. What he himself is willing to. Let me move these a little bit. What the universe would have each or both to give to the union or connection, and the universe wants to help with, but we have free will, so we have to allow it or not. That's another one of those choices that we have to make, and the outcome. And then the other deck, same thing. Divine feminine, the masculine as it relates to the feminine, this energy to himself, the union or connection as a whole. Overall, what energy he would have the feminine give to the union or connection if it up to him, what he's doing himself, what the universe wants to help with, and the outcome. So divine feminine, our cards are the mystic. Here's the air in earth too. Remember I said the earth sign was coming through with air? We have the mystic. To me, it's like very air sign, but also watery. We have the star here, and the star, of course, represents the sign of Aquarius. And I think that that's what the sign that I mentioned. I said Aquarius and Uranus. I said Taurus, not Capricorn. But I did pull the Aquarius energy up. This is like a high priestess. And in the tarot, similarly, right, the high priestess is Gemini, but also can be very watery. So this is someone who has really strong and good instincts and should, know better and like to watch her step and to pay attention to those instincts if she wants to avoid trouble. And I think that's what this card even says, right? It says, take care immediately to avoid temptation and deceit. So that's what the feminine is up against this week. This is not necessarily a Capricorn, but in the tarot, the devil does represent the sign of Capricorn. The masculine as it relates to the feminine. We have expectancy and marriage. You are attracting emotional fulfillment and unconditional love. And I think for somebody, this is very literal. Like, it's like, I want the whole thing. The marriage, the baby carriage, the whole deal. But other than that, the expectancy card is really about not having a bunch of expectations and putting restrictions on the universe and just allowing for energy to flow and for things to happen organically and naturally. So like allowing something like this, a Two of Cups, to unfold in a healthy way. And that's what it is supposed to be. Again, the Two of Cups represents reciprocity. So it's two people who want to give and receive from one another. There's nothing forced about it. So we don't need expectations when it comes to that kind of relationship. The masculine as it relates to himself, we have a need to work on the relationship that he has with himself. So this card's actually in the perfect place. And lion. Harness the loyal and protective aura of the lion and charge ahead magnificently. This is the card we started with, right? We started with strength, representative of Leo, the lion, and not using it, right? Feeling sort of afraid to be vulnerable, feeling not harnessing this protective aura. So this is guiding the masculine to do that, and it is for himself. It is about picking up his own energy and healing the relationship, or strengthening the relationship he has with himself, and how he feels about himself. So his lack of confidence and the lack of esteem, maybe, and fear, particularly of being vulnerable, this can take care of all of that. The masculine, as it relates to the union or connection as a whole, and it is about it's this fear surrounding all of this. And it even says, beware, be careful who you trust at this time. He is afraid. He doesn't trust himself, though. Again, there's a lack of confidence here that's coming through. But this is the masculine's higher self. He's telling us what he's feeling about the union or connection as a whole, just afraid. And I think specifically afraid to be vulnerable, as I've been saying, or as we've been shown since we started this reading. Overall, so what's going on overall? Transience. Another one of these deep spiritual shifts and sort of like an ascension. Here, this is for everybody, which makes sense because then we see the eagle. I don't think I ever noticed this rainbow here before. You will soar towards your destiny with greater clarity and strength. Yes, you will. After this spiritual shift, there's going to be, and I talked about this in the general reading too. So it's not just coming up now. I said it may have been for somebody, for a particular group. I don't think it was. I think it was for everybody. It was the last two cards that I read. Judgment and... don't recall what the other one was. But whatever Judgment, the two cards that were paired together, I talked about major spiritual shift and ascension and transience. And here it is overall. With the what energy the masculine have the feminine give to the union of connection for up to him. And it's more of this star, more of this Aquarian energy, more nude female. So there is surrender. And the card is about listening. So it's communication, right? That requires both listening and talking, like not just hearing words and not receiving them, really listening and paying attention. But also, this is for people who are not necessarily physically attempting to communicate. This is you paying attention to signs and synchronicities too. And then again, surrendering and going with the guidance. And isn't it funny how it lands right underneath this other card with the star for the feminine? And the reason he wants you to just let go and go with the flow is for the purposes of unity. A time of divine understanding, renewal, peace, and hope. You radiate and attract great love. What energy the masculine? So this is what he wants from the feminine. He wants her to listen and to, be prepared or interested in connection. I love how it's crossing the marriage card too. And so what's he willing to do? Let's see. We got divine guidance. So also him listening to signs and synchronicities and instincts and things around him. Partner with luck. You're right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities that are ahead. So the purposes of strengthening himself is so he can walk toward these opportunities in following the guidance that he's receiving. Just, feel strong enough, feel courageous enough to do that. What the universe wants to help with. Birth. And cracker. Positive energy surrounds you. Love, joy, and good fortune await. These cards are like the same colors too. This red, yellow, or golden color. And this is about renewal, new beginnings, very spiritual, very divine. With this, this dove always reminds me of like the Pentecost, especially with these three lines coming out of it. So that the Pentecost is the event where the Holy Spirit is said to have descended upon the earth. And that would definitely be positive energy surrounding you. Love, joy, and good fortune. Very nice. And the outcome. Wow. How perfect is that? Love and the lovers coming up together as the outcome. There are two paths ahead. Be true to yourself. So this is another card about choices too. Choices that are going to make you happy. Or if you remain unhappy, then that's you choosing to be unhappy. Right? You know which path is leading you to where you're not happy. And then there's another one where you move away from that thing or person or situation towards something better for yourself. Right? In love. I hope you guys have enjoyed this love reading. I'm sorry that I got cut off for a moment, and I hope all the messages still got to you. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I try to answer or respond to all the comments, whether they're questions or just statements or saying hello. And if you are subscribing, please hit both the subscribe button and the bell button so that hopefully you receive notifications when I put up a new video. Namaste.